Hey everybody, what is going on? HexX here with another Master Duel video for you. So today we're going to be doing yet another one of our viewer specials. This one's going to be number 28, I think. I actually don't have any idea off the top of my head, but I believe it is number 28 if I recall correctly. So coming up on 30, it's quite a lot. It's actually much longer than I thought the series was going to go on. So I'm really glad though. I'm glad we've been able to keep it up for this long. So for those of you who are new to the channel and or series and are wondering what this viewer special is all about, it's pretty simple. I like to showcase replays from you all the viewers fairly regularly, usually once every week or two. I try to do it once a week, but sometimes I just have like a lot of content I want to get out, and it's, you know, we find the time for it about once a week. And I like to showcase these games for, you know, multiple reasons. The main one, honestly, is that well, there's really a bunch of main reasons, but some of the more prominent reasons are that, you know, I think it's best to learn from watching multiple people play rather than just one. So I want to give multiple people the opportunity on this platform to showcase their playstyles and also their decks that maybe, you know, I don't showcase regularly or very often here on the channel. Of course, another reason I love to do this series is to kind of, it's my way of helping, or, you know, kind of getting you all more involved, I guess, so to speak, because, you know, when I check out your comments in the comments section, most of you are pretty good about giving constructive criticism and feedback, and that's really helped me improve as a duelist. So I want to give you all the opportunity to show off your skills, I guess, as well, and help us improve that way, rather than just in the comments there. So it's also a nice way to just, you know, kind of, again, showcase everyone and kind of give us all a platform to show our stuff. I think that's an important thing for us to be able to do. So if you're wondering how to share your games here with the channel, it's pretty simple. The main bit of information I need is your 9-digit player ID. Go ahead and relay that information to me. You can do that either in the comment section of this video below, or if you check out the description below, you'll find one of my links there is going to be to my Twitter page. I have a pinned tweet on my Twitter profile where I gather those responses as well. So mainly looking for your player ID, obviously, so I can, you know, view your replays. Make sure that you are saving your replays publicly. If they are not publicly saved, then I will not be able to view them, and then, well, we can't feature them. The other thing that's really helpful in the comments of, you know, whether you're doing it on Twitter or YouTube is just including a little bit of a blurb about what, you know, the game that you want me to feature, whether it's just like the date and time or the name of the player you played against. And then if you just want to be like, you know, say something as simple as like, I played this deck versus this deck, or if you want to talk a little bit about the game itself, yeah, that's definitely all the information that I'm looking for there. I do watch most of the replays, even though I don't obviously get to feature all of them. I do end up going through most of them and viewing all of them. And if your replay doesn't get featured, you know, don't worry. Feel free to keep submitting more games. Just don't spam the same game over and over again. That's a surefire way not to get featured. But if you've got multiple games, you can definitely submit multiple times. There is no limit in that regard. So, yeah, just go ahead and submit those, like I said, either in the comment section below or over there on Twitter. But for this week's viewer special, we actually have 3 different mirror matches that we're going to take a look at. I noticed quite a few different mirror matches in my replies there, so I picked a few of them out for us to look at. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into the first one. Alright, so the first game we're going to take a look at comes to us from Lexi Rose, who has submitted a number of times here to the viewer special. Thank you yet again for submitting. Today we have a Sword Soul mirror to take a look at. And that's going to be, I believe it's this one here, if I recall correctly. Yeah, because I think the other longer game was playing against Dragon Maids, because I saw that one too. Like I said, I do tend to just kind of peek at most replays I see that are saved publicly, so. Alright, let's see. We're going to be going first here. This hand's looking really good. This would have actually been a phenomenal going second hand with the Maxi and the Ash Blossom, but still actually makes for a very good going first hand, because you know, with the Emergence plus, you know, random Tinny monster, we can definitely fire off our main combo here. We even have an Ash Blossom in response to their, what do you call it, their Maxi there. It's interesting, when I was watching this replay and I saw the Maxi come out, I was kind of debating, like, you know, I think I would also just like fire off the Maxi, but I almost wonder if it's better to fire off Call by here. This is something I've debated, you know, in my own games before, when I have the opportunity to activate either against the Maxi. Like, on turn 1. Should I hold the Ash Blossom or the Call By? What is more likely to be useful? Now, obviously, that's going to depend on the matchup, and I don't know. The fact that Call By, it can act very equally. Like, a lot of people tend to view this card as only being used like against hand traps, but this is like very valid disruption in its own right. So you really could make an argument for either. Again, I think I also probably would have just fired off the Ash Blossom against the Maxi, but that's what we're thinking about, definitely. So looks like we got our fairly standard setup here. Obviously, Chi plus Baron is I think, as a comment said recently, a tale as old as time. So we have the Call By set and a Maxi as well, so we're looking pretty solid here. Definitely like to see an opening board like this. But the opponent's going to lead with a drop. But what did they pitch here? It was Desires and... Oh, hang on, let me pause this. Okay, it was Desires and Adhara. They ended up pitching for Droplet. So Droplet is pretty rough against the Chi Baron board. It's one of the reasons Droplet is still really, really good in this format. Not just against Sword Souls, but also you can use it against Branded Despia pretty effectively as well. When they go for like the Guardian Chimera and or Mirror Jade, you can just shut it all down. Well, it really depends on that situation, but needless to say, Droplet is still very, very good for breaking boards, like this one here. So we do have the Maxi, so we do still have that to work with. Looks like the opponent has a Moye and Ashina kind of combo of their own. So here, if I'm the opponent, I'm really looking for either game or to summon as little times as possible. So when our opponent rather went for Ashina into Vishnu, especially in defense mode there, I don't know that I really know what they were going for. Especially because if I recall correctly, they don't really do much after this, right? Like, if you're gonna go for the Vishnu at this point, at least do one more summon and go for the Monk and bounce, one of the Synchro monsters off the board, right? And here they emerges for a Longyan, they don't end up summoning either, which, I understand not wanting to summon Longyan under Max C, but at the same time, like, probably should just grab Protos then, at that point? Like, it would have been one more additional draw for additional body. Actually, let me see here. I think our opponent could have potentially had Lethal. They would have had to have summoned more, which maybe would have drawn Nibiru at that point, but I'm thinking, like, 1,028, 25. Well, they would have been 500 short if they'd just gone for Protos here. But I think our opponent could have pretty easily found Lethal. This, to me, is somebody who, like, just kind of half committed into playing Max C, which, weirdly enough, is actually kind of like the worst case you want to be when playing against Max C. In a situation like this, I think you either want to, like, not play into it at all, give them, like, 0 or 1 draw. Either that or just, like, play all the way, like, try to find Lethal, give them the maximum amount of draws, because what our opponent has done here is just kind of, like, ended on a very mid board and then just given us like 3 draws. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for us in this scenario, because now they don't have a whole lot to come back with and we have like far more than enough resources to keep going here. Like, we still have the Call By down, even if our opponent, like, even if the card they drew is like a Maxi or an Ash or a Veiler, like, we still have the out for it. And even if it is Imperm, like, well, they can't use Imperm from hand here, they would have had to have said it. The Chi Xiao, just as I was just gonna say, that's not gonna work because we can just negate their Chi Xiao with ours. So, and we don't need a Chi Xiao search to win at this point. Definitely not. We still have the Emergence and the Taya summon, so we can make another 8 and 10. We even drew the Ash Blossom. It's so disgustingly good. Yeah, I imagine here we just make Baxia just to spin these last couple of cards away. Yep. And then we can just slam our opponent for lethal with everything we've got on board. We could even go for a 10, but yeah, we don't have to. No. Nice. So yeah, again, I think the main cautionary tale from that game to take away is if your opponent plays Maxi, you gotta commit one way or the other. You either don't play into it at all, or give them 1 draw, or just like go for game. Because again, as we saw, a middling Maxi response definitely results in minimal board state for you and still decent card advantage for your opponent. So thank you very much, Lexi, for submitting that game. I appreciate it as always. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Okay, so our next game submitted to us comes from IDK. It's not that I don't know, that's just the person's name. So, IDK, you have a Runick mirror for us to take a look at. Looks like it's from back in the Duelist Cup. Let's take a peek here. Yeah, so this would be around the time... Let's see, the date was, what, the 15th? So this is just a few days after Runick had just come out. This is like... At about this point in time, I was starting to realize, like, just how misguided I'd been about Runick as a deck. It's not that I thought they were going to be bad, I just didn't think they were really going to make an impact, honestly, because, you know, looking at, like, the OCG and TCG, I didn't really see them making too much of an impact, although, of course, I failed to take my own advice where I, you know, take into account, you know, just how different Master Duel's meta is, both in terms of its release order and its ban list and all that, so... Alright, looks like we've got a relatively typical turn 1 going here for our Runick deck. Did we activate tip already? Okay, we did activate a tip this turn. Because I saw the set tip and I was like, wait, did we not get a chance to use that? No, we did. So, yeah, this looks like a pretty solid opening. Amano Iwado from the opponent's pretty rough. Because it means we're not going to be able to activate our Immunity's effect in response to the Runick Destruction. So, they're going to get to take out our Fountain here. Like I said, it's definitely more than a bit rough, but definitely not the end of the world. We do, at the very least, have another Fountain in our hands, so... I think this is a pure mirror as well, from what I can tell. It seems like, yeah, we're playing the pure variants on both sides here. So, you know, these control/stun mirrors are actually some of the more... tense games of Yu-Gi-Oh! That I've ever played. And not that I've played this particular variant of Runick yet, but, you know, back when I played the TCG, I would very frequently play more stun/floodgate type decks. So, yeah, the stun mirrors can be something else. When you all have these back rows that are kind of useless, and you're both playing like a slow strategy, the game gets really, really grindy really fast. And advantage, like, matters super more than, like, pretty much any other, like, matchup, so... I guess we at least got to gain our 1,000 life points from that spirit monster leaving the board, but the opponent got quite a bit of hand advantage there, but looks like now it's our turn. Well, I was going to say it's our turn to Runick Destruction there, found, but the opponent has a Solemn Judgment, which is pretty wild. I don't think I've ever come across a Runick deck that plays Solemn, but okay. Yeah, most, you know, stun/floodgate decks do want to play the Solemn, but I don't think Runick has room for it, honestly. Like, even the pure variant. Like, I think you want to just be playing card draw, floodgates, and Runick spells. Like, exactly those 3 cards in a pure Runick deck. Having the Runick Allure is very nice up on board as well in a situation like this. I talked about this when we did our Synchro Runick deck profile, but... you know, Runick Allure counting every single quick play spell means that we get to mill our opponent every time they try to mill us, which is going to cost them, you know, doubly, triply even sometimes. Also, I don't understand this golden droplet from the opponent here at all. I really don't. I don't get why you would want to give your opponent more draws in this situation. So I kind of don't understand golden droplet. Like, I think the majority of the time, oops, I didn't mean to throw it fast forward, I meant to pause it. I think the majority of the time I see people playing this particular Runick spell, they're almost exclusively using it wrong. Runick Golden Droplet, in my mind, has exactly 2 uses in this deck. One, I use it pretty early on if I want to use a Runick spell to summon a Runick monster, but I want to also use all the other Runick spells in my hand. Then I'll grab Golden Droplet, because I almost never want to use this first effect. I guess there's 3 situations. There's that. The second, and to be fair, most common situation is like, and to be fair, I think that is what the opponent just ended up doing here. Sometimes you do just have to activate this in order to get the Runick Fountain, but I think in that situation you really want to consider the timing of it, like, because you're going to give your opponent some advantage in the course of you gaining advantage as well. And in the mirror match in particular, I think that's really important to think about. So, I don't know, I can see wanting to get some draws here from the opponent, but at the same time, it's like, especially during your opponent's turn, giving them the draw, I think is super dicey. The only other scenario where I would use the Runick Golden Droplet for its first effect is if, like, the opponent is about to deck out as a result, but Golden Droplet is a card that requires a lot of nuance to use, and I don't think a lot of people are using it in a very nuanced way in my opinion, but... Okay, so they did have the destruction for our found, but I thought they already used destruction this turn. That must have been during their turn. It's so easy in the Runick mirror match to lose track of that. Like, wait, didn't they already use that one this turn? But obviously they didn't. If if the game is letting them activate it, then it must be a legal move. So let's see. We both have 14 cards in the deck at this point. But we have the Runick Allure on board, so we're going to have the inherent advantage. And it seems like the opponent has even kind of like, they either don't have anything to play here, or they've kind of given up on the idea of playing too many Runick spells. Yeah, this Runick Allure is so clutch in this matchup. I would argue this is probably the matchup where it's actually most important to have this card. I've seen a lot of people say, like, oh, you need Runick Allure to play against 60-card decks, but 60-card decks, it really comes more often down to, like, controlling them out rather than decking them out. Like, you either with your floodgates or through your incremental disruption through the Runick spells end up, like, controlling them out of the game to a point where they have no resources left, and that's usually how you end up winning, I find, against, like, 60-card decks, so. If the opponent does finally have a Runick Destruction for our Allure, but I think it's too little too late at this point. How many cards do they have left? 5? Oh yeah, and we're gonna banish the rest of their cards right here. Because Smiting, I always call it the Smithing Storm because it's got the hammer. Smiting Storm is an up to effect, so unlike all the other Runick spells which banish exactly so many cards, this one will banish, up to the amount, so yeah, looks like we managed to get our deck out victory. Wow, it's so rare, even when playing the deck out deck, to actually see the deck out animation. Usually everyone just scoops beforehand, but no, we were able to deck out our opponent there, mostly thanks to the Runick Allure putting in double time. So thank you very much, IDK, for that submission. We've got one more game to take a look at. Let's dive straight into it. And finally, our last replay comes to us from Rabid Rabbit. I think you've submitted before. That username looks a little familiar. You have a game to share with us here, and it's going to be a Floowandereeze mirror. It's actually been quite a while since I've played either with or against Floowandereeze. Well, I haven't played with Floowandereeze since, like, they came out, I think. But, yeah, even playing against them, I haven't encountered a Floowandereeze deck in quite a while, actually, which is a bit surprising to me. The deck is still, like, more than playable. I think it's, as we discussed on our last tier list video, I think Floowandereeze is easily still a tier 2 deck. Definitely everyone who said the deck was going to die with the barrier statue, we're very much seeing that's not the case at this point. I mean, we've already seen that's the case. Really, like, most of us should have known that, honestly. I was a bit hesitant to make that call, not because I thought Floowandereeze was going to take a huge dive in terms of power level. I knew the deck was still going to be playable. I just thought people were going to, like, kind of mass exodus from the deck to Runick. Like, I really just thought that people were going to drop the deck altogether, because that seems to happen whenever a deck gets hit here on Master Duel. But Floowandereeze, I think, has a lot of staying power because people are anticipating it's going to be good against tier limits when those come to the Master Duel's card pool. So I think for that reason, people who have invested into Floowandereeze they feel like it's got some future proofing. The main thing that Floowandereeze can do against tier limits is the ability to main deck Dimension Shifter very easily and other banishing cards. Tier limits being a mill-based deck, they obviously really hate their stuff getting banished. So it was evenly matched. I saw the Impen get banished face down. I was just rambling. I forgot what banished it there, but it was, the evenly matched, so. Okay, looks like we're getting our Floowandereeze plays now, although, to be fair, it's not like the Impen from the opponent's side really does anything. This is another, like, kind of control mirror where I think it's pretty interesting how it ends up playing out, because, yeah, I was wondering when the opponent's Dreaming Town was going to come down. Oh, and interesting, we chain with Advent and Adventure. Oh my god, the Magnificent Map. How do Floowandereeze mirrors, like, okay, Rabbit, you're a Floowandereeze player. Is this mirror match not the most headache-inducing, like, Yu-Gi-Oh matchup ever? I feel like between the Magnificent Maps and, like, every turn just feels like I would lose track of turns, honestly. If I was playing a I think I was playing a Floowandereeze mirror in real life, there'd be so many scenarios where I'd be like, wait, whose turn is it? Like, do I get to attack or not? I don't remember. Just because you get to, like, do so much summoning on your opponent's turn. Like, this is very much the ultimate, like, your turn, our turn matchup. Like, so you'll have to let me know if you ever get confused with that, because God knows I would. So it looks like the opponent used their Dreaming Town to run out another Impen line, as opposed to trying to throw down like an Apex Avian or something. Although, have they played the Eaglin? They actually might still be able to... No, okay, they have used the Eaglin effect, right? Yeah, they added it, okay. I thought they did. I was like, wait, did they get to Impen and Apex Avian here? No, no. So now, what do we rise at them here? I don't have enough experience in this matchup, to be honest. Oh no, we already used our Impen, that's right, so we get to tribute theirs away with the what is this? Unexplored Winds, that's what the card is called. I was trying to remember what this continuous spell is called. Yeah, I don't know, I guess it kind of seems like, wait, did we not battle there? I guess not, huh? Oh wow, they're going for the Zeus line. That's pretty rare to see. I don't think I've ever played against Floowandereeze and actually seen them go for an extra deck monster. They do it though. Like, it's not an impossibility for sure. The main reason would be to go for, as you can see here, Symbol Nightingale, and then use that to go into a Zeus. There's some other things you can do as well. I mean, there's other various like ranked ones you can play, but okay, yeah, here's the Apex Avian. So yeah, getting rid of the Symbol Nightingale is nice, because then obviously that keeps our board safe, and I definitely agree with, you know, obviously we have to negate this Unexplored Winds, otherwise, you know, we just lose our monster here. And the fact that I was going to say, the fact that we have a map up and they don't, like, there's no way we don't just win here, right? We can just run out our Apex Avian or Ryza if we search for it with Impen there, so... I was feeling I was kind of quiet during that mirror match, mostly because I was just trying to figure out what was going on. Again, just... The Floowandereeze mirror seems particularly, like, head-scratching, at least to me in particular. So, thank you very much, Rapid Rabbit, for that submission, and thank you everyone who submitted. Yeah, I hugely appreciate everyone who is submitting these replays to the viewer special. This series could not happen without you, and I have to give an extra special thank you to all of you who are watching. Again, if your game did not make it, feel free to keep submitting other games, and I will see them at the very least, and I try to showcase people who haven't been, showed in the viewer specials before as well. So, yeah, definitely keep submitting, and let's just go ahead and move now to the outro. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end of the video like this. That means a whole lot to me, not just personally, but it's also a great way of supporting the channel as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other means, you can of course feel free to comment and or subscribe right here on YouTube. I'm always looking to the comments section. You guys leave some pretty awesome feedback as far as like constructive criticism goes when it comes to deck building, gameplay, channel content, all that stuff. So feel free to leave your opinion down there. I will be sure to take a look at that there. And then subscribing is going to be the best way to get notifications of when these videos drop. That does happen every day, by the way, so if you're looking for daily Master Duel content, you've come to the right place. And there are more places where you can get some daily Master Duel content. If you check out the description below, follow the top link over to my Patreon page. There, for just $5 a month, which is as much as you pay for a booster pack, you'll find a lot more value than a pack full of filler over there. We've got some previews for content upcoming here on the channel. We've got some exclusive games that are only posted over on Patreon over there. We've got some Q&As, and then you can also have your name featured in this lovely credit sequence where I thank all of the people who are helping contribute over there on Patreon. It's a huge support to the channel, and it really means a lot as well. So thank you everyone who is donating. that is featured here on screen. And again, you know, it's not just a pure donation, you do get some more daily Master Duel content over there just for being a part of the Patreon. But I think that's about all the time that I have for today's video. Once again, I just want to thank you so very much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. Again, it just means a lot, as I do put a decent amount of work into getting these videos out every single day. But that's about all the time that I've got for now, so without further ado, this is Hexlex. I'm signing out, and I hope you have a fantastic day.